The 10 most wanted designer bags in 2025, and it looks like a particular brand is having a bit of a comeback. Hey, Steph here. Now, I do this research by asking you on YouTube and over on Instagram, what is the #1 bag on your wish list this year? I collate the results and create this list, and it's always super interesting to see which bags people want to buy. So let's dive in. We'll start with 10th place and we'll work our way up to 1st place, which is the most wanted bag in 2025. In 10th place, now this is a bag that has never before been on our top 10 list, but recently there's been an updated version of this bag, and I think this could be making the bag much more relevant. This brand has also never made this list before, so this is a bag from Fendi, which first launched in 1997 and is dubbed one of the first ever quiet luxury bags of its kind, long before it became trendy again to be quiet luxury. In 10th place, we have the Fendi Peekaboo bag. This has knocked the Chanel 19 off our list completely this year, and I love the backstory behind the name of this bag. So Peekaboo refers to the children's game Peekaboo, ICU. Initially the bag was called the Hide and Seek, but Venturini Fendi felt that Peekaboo was a better fit for the way the interior compartments of the bag are revealed. To quote Venturini Fendi, carrying a peekaboo says something about a very strong, powerful and empowered person who is not afraid to hide. It has 2 compartments. One you can keep close to you and closed, and the other you can choose to reveal something of yourself to the world. Now, I mentioned that Fendi have just released an updated version of the Peekaboo, and this is the soft Peekaboo, which we have seen previously, but it has just come out and I feel it's very on trend right now. Now, I tried this on and it's slouchy and supple and beautiful. I definitely prefer the soft Peekaboo in the bigger sizes. I think it lends itself really well to this trend and looks very chic. Although I do have to admit, I was recently in London, and for the Lunar New Year, Fendi have released the Fendi Monsterize again, and I tried the black Fendi mini Peekaboo, not the soft one, just kind of the normal one, and oh my gosh, I had to talk myself out of it because I do not need another top handle black bag, but it's probably one of the best mini Peekaboos I have ever seen. Sorry darling, close your ears. I just think the black leather version of the Fendi Mini Peekaboo is a timeless classic. I absolutely love mine, the limited edition marble print, but when you open her up and kind of slouch the bag down a little bit, we don't have monster eyes. It was just such a fun version of the Fendi Peekaboo. Also, the zip looked like a little mouth, and compared to other houses' classic bags, Dior, Chanel example, the price point I think is much better at Fendi, with the Fendi Mini Peekaboo retailing at £3,800. I have 2 Peekaboos in my collection. I have a medium and a mini, and I can see why this bag has made our list. Now, I will pop links down below so that you can shop along with this video super easily, and I have just released my free 2025 bag trend guide, so I will link to that down below if you want to know what the hottest trends are and which brands are doing them the best. In 9th place, we have another bag from Fendi. Fendi is stealing the show this year. You go for it, Fendi. And it's iconic. It is the Fendi Baguette bag. So the Fendi Baguette has knocked the Celine Triomphe off its 9th place position, and the Fendi Baguette is arguably an absolute icon. It has been around for 27 years, and therefore I think we can safely argue that this is a classic bag, since it's still in such demand after its first debut so many years ago. Do you know why it's called the baguette? In case you're thinking it has something to do with the French bread, then you'd be right. Silvia Venturini Fendi was inspired by Parisian women who would carry the baguette under their arms, so she designed a bag in a way that it could be carried as comfortably as a loaf of bread. The Fendi Baguette has taken the place of the Celine Triomphe last year. Now, I still love the Triomphe bag. I have mine over here, but Fendi brings the baguette out in so many cool colorways and also really cool fabrics, which we don't see on the Triomphe. And I do think some of the sequin versions of the Fendi Baguette bag and some of the colors that they release are so beautiful and really unique. Ooh, in 8th place. Now, this is interesting because the bag that has made it into 8th place has knocked the bag off that I bought last year and has replaced it. And it's another another welcome to this list for the first time ever, because this bag has never made our top 10. I like that we're mixing up at the minute. I like that it's quite different year on year. So in 8th place, I can confirm that we have the Louis Vuitton Speedy bag. The icon, the classic, the first time bag if you're ever buying something from Louis Vuitton. I was actually wondering if the Speedy would make this list because I've definitely started to fall in love with this style of bag all over again recently. And I definitely think it's down to the clever marketing of the brand. Now I can confirm the Speedy has knocked the Go On 4 off our list, and I got mine last year. So this is my Go On 4 that has now left our top 10 completely. I do really love this bag. I love the colourway and I'm really happy with mine still. But very interestingly, the Speedy has knocked the Go On 4 off the list, and I just invested in my first ever Speedy 25. This is in the black maltage leather, and I feel this is very on trend with it being super quiet luxury. We have no logos on here, and in terms of a Speedy bag, I love that the zipper runs down the side of this one. I also have a Speedy 30 in the giant monogram. I will do a video soon comparing the 30 and the 25 if you're interested. Now, since Pharrell became creative director at Louis Vuitton, we have definitely seen the iconic first bag from the brand launched into the stratosphere in terms of price with the luxurious P9, and one of Louis Vuitton's most expensive bags ever is the Millionaire bag, and that is a Speedy made from crocodile and it's encrusted with diamonds. Pharrell has been seen carrying this. So the Speedy is a really interesting bag because you can buy a first time bag and it's one of the cheaper bags from the brand, all the way up to now one of its most expensive bags, the Millionaire bag that you can buy, and lots of choice in between in terms of price points. I think personally this is a really smart way of reviving an icon and making the bag appeal to a much wider audience and variety of customers. It still could be a fantastic first designer bag, but it also can be a very aspirational piece. In 7th place is a bag that was 5th placed last year, so it's moved down a few notches, but I still love this bag beyond words, and it is the Celine 16. Now, if you are a subscriber of my channel, you might already know how much I adore this bag. So I have mine in black smooth leather. She is the epitome of quiet luxury. She's elegant, she's easy to use, she's just a vibe. So much so that I was unsure about this bag before I bought it, but now I would really like another one. I tried some on recently in the untreated leather, and it is just sensational. So the Celine 16 has moved the Chanel Trendy out of 7th place. Is that the right thing to do? Some of you may know I do actually have a small Chanel Trendy as well. Both of them are very similar sizes, but in terms of usability, I would say the Celine 16 is better. So I do think it's probably a good move that the Trendy has moved down, because I think the Celine 16 is worthy of the Trendy's place. And the main reasoning for this, I will quickly show you, is that you get so much more, I find, space in the Celine 16 bag. It is currently stuffed, but you do get these 2 nice big compartments inside, and it's super easy to use, and I'm never afraid to use it. It goes with everything. But the Trendy also goes with everything, and I think it's a very beautiful bag. But my biggest gripe when it comes to the Trendy bag is, can you see inside here? We just have a lot of compartments and they're actually pretty flat, and you can't put too much in this bag. Otherwise, you can't get the bag to close properly if there's too much at the top of the bag. Both beautiful. I wouldn't be without either of them, but the Celine 16 is definitely my most used out of the two. Another bag falling from grace, because this bag came in 4th place last year, but this is now in 6th place, is the Chanel Classic Flap. Now this has bumped the Chanel Trendy. Now the Classic Flap, she is the bag of many people's dreams and aspirations, the epitome of bags, if you will. She's very ladylike, but I don't know about you, but I feel like the Classic Flap feels a little bit tainted right now. I think they're very beautiful bags, but with all the price increases from Chanel, I don't need to go on. A small size of the Classic Flap, which I would describe as a mini bag, now retails at around £8,500 in the UK. I remember when they were closer to about £4,500, and I just don't know if they're worth it anymore. So it makes sense that this has gone down our list a little bit. It kind of feels like Chanel knew we all had a dream, and then they just ripped a lot of people's dreams away from them. If you are to look at a classic flap, or if I were, I definitely would look pre-loved. There's lots of savings to be had. That being said, I've never personally been enough of a fan to own one myself. I did try a sunset sequin on once that I do sometimes think about, but I prefer my boy bags. I think they're edgier. They're definitely my favorite and more my style. Ooh, in 5th place, we have another newcomer, and a newcomer in 2 senses. One being that it's never been on our list before, and the second is that this bag was only released last year. It's another one from Celine, and it is the Celine Nino. This has moved into the place of the Lady Dior bag from last year. Now, I actually tried the Nino on the other day. I tried it in the nano size, I believe, in the medium size. They retail around 2.4k to 2.6k in the UK. They're very classic looking. They have some really beautiful colours, taupe, grey, caramel and black. It really is a pretty bag with a top handle and the Celine logo on the front. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Chanel Coco handle, but this one has a beautiful leather lining and it's just a total vibe. Personally, I prefer the Celine 16. I just prefer that super quiet luxury. I prefer the structure of it, but I can see why the Nino is so popular. And if we're comparing this bag to the likes of the Coco top handle, the price point is far better from Celine. Now on to 4th place. This bag first appeared on the arm of Lady Diana in 1995 and was originally called the Chouchou bag, which means darling in French. It was renamed the Lady Dior bag in honor of Princess Diana. Of course, I'm talking about the Lady Dior bag. This has moved into the place of the classic flap. So last year the classic flap was in 4th place, but the classic flap has moved down to 6th place, and the Lady Dior is actually quite an interesting bag for me. I've struggled to find the right one for me with it being such an icon. I can admire them for sure. I think the Lady Dior bags are definitely some of my favorites where they collaborate with artists. They're just mind-blowingly beautiful and gorgeous. Now, I did buy a Lady Dior black diamond motif, which honestly, I still think about that bag to this day. That was my Lady Dior. But thanks to some of you, you actually let me know that there were some issues with the coating on the leather and it would start peeling. So at the last minute, I decided to return it because I didn't want to spend that much money and have a problem. Hopefully they fixed it now, but I've never found another one that I've loved quite as much again. Now we are down to our top 3 most wanted bags in 2025. In 3rd place, there's no movement here. This is the same as last year. Now, this bag was one of the first true handbags that was first created in its current form in 1928 by Robert Dumas. Robert updated an older design of a bag to accommodate things like papers, and the Hermes Kelly bag was born. So in 3rd place, we have the Kelly bag. I feel like the Kelly is very much having a moment right now. I'm seeing it all over Instagram. Now, the Kelly was originally called, and I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, but the Sac à deux piches, until legendary beauty and actress Grace Kelly used her Sac à deux piches bag to cover her growing belly when she was pregnant in 1957. Everyone flooded the Hermes boutiques asking for the Kelly bag, and Hermes finally decided to rename the bag in 1977, and it's now what we know as the Kelly. I have to say that this bag is simple and timeless, yet it's made exquisitely. It's definitely one of my favorite bags in my collection. It's one of my biggest, it was my biggest investment in my collection ever. So it's no surprise that the Kelly bag remains a strong contender on our list. So which bags have won out to the Hermes Kelly? In 2nd place, we have none other than the Hermes Birkin, of course. Let me know in the comments, are you a Kelly or a Birkin fan, or neither? Let me know. I'm definitely a Kelly fan over the Birkin. So the Birkin has moved into the place of the Lady Dior. The Lady Dior has moved down since last year. Now, the Birkin was our #1 bag on our list last year, and it's been knocked off its pedestal into 2nd place. I'm very excited to reveal the bag that's done this because I was not expecting this. In fact, the bag that's now 1st place wasn't on our list at all last year. So the Birkin is possibly the most iconic bag in the world. It's known for its weight list and it's very much a status symbol. This bag was first created around 50 years ago after the Kelly in 1984 and was created by chance. It girl Jane Birkin and and Jean-Louis Dumas, the Hermès artistic director and CEO at the time, were on a flight together, and Jane said she needed something more suitable for every day as a mother. The design of the Birkin was then scribbled out on the back of an aeroplane sick bag, and the rest is history. So, which bag has the almighty power to knock all the other icons down the list this year? I am still in shock at this one, to be honest, because it didn't, like I say, make our list at all last year, or for the 2 years running actually. But I have to say, it is one of my favourite styles of bag, so I completely get it, and it's from Louis Vuitton. The #1 bag on people's wish list in 2025 is the Louis Vuitton Capucines bag. I think the reason that this bag is so wanted right now is a combination of things. #1, I think that they have some really fun sizes and colours of the Capucines bag, also materials, and generally it's just a matter of time until you find one that you simply can't say no to. #2, despite the Capucines price increases over the years, yes, Louis Vuitton, I'm looking at you, the price increases on the second-hand market for Hermès, for example, has gone completely wild. Chanel prices have gone wild, like doubled if not tripled in some cases when it comes to Hermès. And when you compare these prices, it actually seems like the Capucines, which has a beautiful story behind it, is much more reasonably priced. So the story behind this bag is that Louis Vuitton opened his first ever store in 1854 on the Rue des Capucines in Paris. And so this bag is named after the first ever Louis Vuitton store. Now I have 4 of these little critters, and by gosh do I love them. Let me grab them and show you. Oh, I feel so lucky to have these bags, honestly. I remember when I first started collecting bags, or really wanted them, and I remember looking at the Capucines and really wanting one and just thinking, one day I will be able to afford one of those bags. And you know, and it kind of feels like you're saying it, but you don't know if you quite believe it. So I feel so blessed. This is my BB Capucines with the Murano handle in the jasmine pink. I also have the BB in the beautiful pink stardust. This kind of throws off like an apricot colour, but it has the pearl inlay for the logo. Obsessed. And I have my 2 mini babies. This is the scarlet red, which is honestly the most beautiful red I've ever come across when it comes to a bag. It does look quite different in different lights, but it's just sensational. And this is my mini in the black with the python handle and flap. Look how gorgeous these babies are. There are so many mini Capucines bags that I absolutely adore. A lot of them you can't get now. I will say one of the places that I have found some of these very rare Capucines bags, like the limited edition ones, for example, Fashion File. I will pop a link again down below in the description box for you, but they seem to have like an incredible range of the Capucines bag. And again, massive savings on recommended retail. So that is a must visit. Now, I'm the first to admit the Capucines can be a bit faffy with the flap, but I just think they are so perfect. Now make sure you don't go anywhere, because coming up next, the best and worst designer bags that you can buy in 2025 and why. Enjoy.